some dreams live on in time forever.
On April 23rd, 1994, a great young guy who you would love went out to play football. He never drank, he never smoked, certainly wasn't a druggie. And he was the healthiest kid I've ever seen. And he collapsed. And it was over in minutes.
Unfortunately, the incidence of sudden cardiac death, especially in younger people, including student athletes, we're now talking about thousands of individuals whose lives are snatched from them.
Each year, close to 3,000 young Americans between the ages of 15 and 34 die of cardiac arrest. Most show no signs of being sick.
Well, they found out that Chad had dilated cardiomyopathy, which is a disease of the heart muscle. You'd never know it to look at him. He was just the most healthy young man.
We feel we can identify risk factors, help individuals, and alter their chances of having problems related to these health situations.
If we have the proper screening, and if they realize that this isn't something that happens to people just in their 50s and 60s. There are 3,000 kids dying every year from this. So they have to become aware of it, to sign those papers and get these screenings done.
And it involves things that range from a finger prick for a blood sample to analyze blood cholesterol and blood glucose, sugar. And it also analyzes, with other testing, blood pressure, arterial elasticity, the status of arteries in the body relative to whether or not they have early signs of atherosclerosis, which is a serious problem in this society. The technology related to echocardiography has advanced to the stage where there are devices that are about the size of laptop computers.
This woman, who goes by the name of Arista, founded the Chad Foundation after her son died of sudden cardiac failure while playing football. Her group, along with the Living Heart Foundation, now offer cardiovascular screenings for football players in high school and college. Columbia University is participating.
I honestly was thinking in my head, that everybody should be able to, have some type of pre-testing, some type of after-testing. It definitely helps. Seeing Corey Stringer go down, it's like, that could be me.
While Corey Stringer's death and that of the Texas teen were heat-related, the screening's organizers say the examinations will spot health problems before it's too late and convince athletes to pay closer attention to their health. But the foundation's screenings are few and far between. The examinations are costly, and some schools are unable to fill in the gaps.
I'm sure cost is a major factor. I mean, just these basic tests that we're doing today are $2,000 each, so cost has to be a factor.
Organizers hope to expand their program, but without the proper funding, such free screenings will remain limited.
The heart problems that cause sudden death in young athletes are not readily detectable by the routine examination. We're talking about subtle abnormalities of the heart muscle, of the coronary arteries, or the electrical depolarization of the heart. And these are not audible type of findings. These require more sophisticated methods of screening the athlete. Use an electrocardiogram for the electrical problems of the heart, or an echocardiogram for the muscle or perhaps coronary artery problems of the heart.
And this little machine may help. It's a new laptop-style echocardiogram that lets doctors screen up to 250 student athletes a day, right at their school. The portable machine, on loan from Agilent Technologies, helps cardiologists spot problems with heart valves, blood flow, even the thickening of walls. If a problem is spotted, athletes are sent for further testing.
Okay, you got a normal heart, okay?
Athletes at North Hollywood High School took a test today they didn't have to study for, but could save their lives. About 50 football players lined up for a free echocardiogram. Even their coaches joined in to find out if they have any hidden heart problems.
It means a lot because after a game, I don't want to be falling out and my heart stop and be dead, so I want to know, just take the test, just, you never know. Things can happen.
A lot of our players are really concerned about, wow, this could happen to me, and then what does it mean and everything. So the kids were real happy to have this done, and you can feel the kids being a little apprehensive as they come in, and you can see their relief as they're walking out.
The nice thing about using echocardiography to screen these patients is that it's a much more sensitive technique. We can pick up a lot of things that you couldn't pick up just by a physical examination. It's easy, it's very reliable, it's very accurate, it's not invasive and not painful at all. Clearly there are certain cardiac defects that can escape detection by all other means except for an echocardiogram. Like I said, an echocardiogram is easy to obtain. The machines are portable. It doesn't take very long. You do need a technician and a cardiologist who have a high level of training, but given those personnel, you can detect a lot of things very easily and very accurately with echocardiography.
Stand clear. A defibrillator can revive a student, but what about prevention?
An EKG, or if they had done an echocardiogram, yes, they would have seen the structural abnormality.
Now that's changing with this 2-pound device costing less than $1,300.
We now have to re-examine the problem.
Dr. Bruce Rosser says new portable technology makes it simple and affordable to check for heart abnormalities.
It's a matter of educating the public to let them know the advancement in technology, let them know the sense of urgency that this is a real healthcare issue.
In Summit, New Jersey, the district requires student athletes to answer questions about their medical history, including specific questions about heart conditions. It also requires the doctors who conduct physicals to check the heart.
It's an effective tool because it now gives the schools something for them to take to their physicians and say, this is what we want to do to get a comprehensive preseason screening for the athletes.
But there is no consensus on what the form should include. In the tri-state area, each is different, and the schools are not required to use them.
It's one screening form that asks questions that can prevent a death.
And heed the warnings. Research shows student athletes typically had symptoms such as fainting weeks before they collapsed.
Tonight, dozens of area high school athletes have a clean bill of health thanks to the CHAD Foundation and Johns Hopkins Hospital. The two organizations teamed up for a free day of echocardiogram screenings at Dunbar High School. The screenings were held in honor of Maryland basketball star Reggie Lewis, who died in 1993 from an enlarged heart. Doctors say echocardiograms are the best way to detect structural heart disorders.
I just want to say about Reggie Lewis, I read his biography. It's called Quiet Grace, and I was just so moved about all the money and how he used his fame and his money to start basketball camps in the inner city. And he just didn't start them, he was there running them. And that's what, besides his tremendous athletic ability, I'm going to remember him for. Because athletics was so important in Chad's life, through the foundation, one of his friends, Michael, organizes the Chad volleyball tournament every year. And we give all the benefits to the Children's Hospital Heart Center. And it's really wonderful. All Chad's friends come out.
Tell me the story of how the Chad Foundation came about.
I was looking at Chad's very last video, his dinner video with all his friends, and he's rapping, he's dancing away, and he has a great big glass of milk next to him, and his friend's beer bottle is right next to that. And I said, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to found a foundation to inspire young people to live more like Chad did, because he never drank, he never smoked. Certainly not drugs, and that's really the genesis of the Chad Foundation. It really did evolve into heart screenings, which is just phenomenal. We've probably screened almost 1,000 kids now. We did find things that need to be looked at, need to be followed up on. You know, heart valves and prolapse problems, and even a few enlarged hearts. So in honor of Chad and all of those that didn't have echocardiograms, we're really pleased and honored to be able to help kids.
The purposes of this event are to one, to raise the public's awareness of potential silent but lethal heart diseases in athletes, and second, to actually provide some first-hand screening and evaluation of young athletes to make sure that none of them have unsuspected heart disease.
We give free echocardiograms. It's sonic to look at the person's heart. You can actually see it on the screen. The procedure could pick out most heart defects, and for the amount of money, it's probably about $3,000 per kid, or per high school student or college person. We do it for free, and try to do a whole high school. And if you pick 2 people out of 500 to find a heart defect, it would all be worth it.
We had a number of young men that lost their life, and they were all healthy, supposedly, and had all had physicals, and everything was going real well for them, and then something didn't work right, and unfortunately a lot of those things have been traced back to the heart. And this particular situation here, you know, I'm responsible for kids that push themselves, you know, physically and mentally, but the physical push that they do, they have to, I want to make sure that they're in top healthy shape, and the heart is obviously the most important part that needs to be functioning, and many times gets overlooked. They do a blood pressure test, and that's about it for them.
I competed in the 1996 and 2000 Olympics in beach volleyball for the U.S. It seems like every week I'm reading about a young athlete falling down on the field and never coming to, and it's either heart or something else, and I think it's really important that we have these types of exams. Echocardiogram is very important, and if more young athletes have access to that, maybe we can prevent some of these deaths at such an early age. After the echocardiogram and taking care of your heart, and just, you know, training hard and following your dreams, and don't let anybody tell you can't do what you want to do. I think it's a great cause, and I'm really excited about it.
My first part of my career was in indoor volleyball in college, and then I played about 8 years professional beach, and I'm at the moment retired from beach volleyball. You know, we have all these things, you know, like say no to drugs, and, you know, all these kind of really external things that we really become aware of, and young people sometimes have things that they're vulnerable to that maybe they don't even realize. So it's really just about bringing awareness to kind of taking the opportunity, if you have one, to get your heart checked out and make sure it's okay, because we think, oh, you know, that's something that affects older people or things like that, and it's something that if you do have a situation like that, a problem with it, that it's actually something that you could maybe prevent or work with, you know, sort of in the boundary, so you don't have like a real serious problem, you know, at the ripe old age of 25 or 26. You know, that's the other thing, is to kind of, you know, sometimes the best cure is to be able to prevent something, and so that's why, you know, anything to do with your health and things that you know, there's so many things out of your control that anytime you have an opportunity to just, you know, find something out, I think, you know, people should.
You end up doing this for every single child that isn't here anymore because they didn't have maybe the benefit of an echocardiogram, and that becomes your family. Sharon Bates and her son Anthony, who was 20, crashed into a median, or 13-year-old David Dual, who's playing basketball in Nevada and just drops. So we're also advocating defibrillators, to have defibrillators at high schools, colleges, and recreation centers.
I'm here to support Arista and to help her with the Chad Foundation and to learn a little bit more about how things work so that we can do things for my son Anthony in his memory and honor. We'll be doing a heart screening in Manhattan, Kansas, the end of October for the athletes of K-State. And then also the next day, the 28th of October is the athletes of K-State, and the 29th will be for the public. And we were talking to the Alpha Kappa Psi group of Kansas State University. They're hosting our our event and helping us coordinate this event. And then once we do that event, then we will do another event in Phoenix, Arizona, where we live and where Anthony went to high school. So we'll be reaching out to many groups.
The HCM, or the enlarged heart hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, is the biggest killer, silent killer of athletes. But there are other things, other heart ailments, cardiovascular problems that can also cause ailments now, and also premature cardiovascular problems in the future. So that's why we're promoting healthy cardiovascular hearts now. We're screening. We can find kids that may be at risk for cardiovascular problems in the future. And if they need to follow up, they need to change their diet, they need even medication, we can get them now.
We're screening for a structural abnormalities of the heart, specifically the condition called cardiomyopathy. It's a heart muscle abnormalities. Most importantly, in the presence of a cardiomyopathy, the heart rhythm becomes irregular rather unexpectedly during sport events and so on. So it's very important to make a diagnosis of this before the patient shows any symptoms, because the first symptom may be a sudden death, and so